The wind howled through the frostfire plains, biting and cruel. The Dark Oath tribe stood in a circle beneath the towering pyre totems, their shadows stretching long and sharp in the light of the burning braziers. Each warrior had sworn an oath, the sacred promise of blood and triumph that bound them to the favor of the Dark Gods. At their center stood War Lady Skora Bloodtide, her armor patched with the furs of slain beasts, her braid caked with the clotted blood of her enemies. She looked out over her gathered kin, men and women built of frost and fire, and raised her ruined axe high.
The omens speak. The earth itself stirs. Something gnaws beneath our feet, vermin feeding in the dark. Tonight, we carve their squeaking hearts for the gods.
The tribe roared their approval. Drums began to thunder, echoing across the frozen plain, like war itself come alive. But deep beneath their boots, another army stirred. In tunnels slick with filth and warpstone, the Skaven of Clan Moulder scurried and hissed, their quarrels silenced only by the crack of a whip. A tide of furred bodies writhed through the caverns, bearing crude banners smeared with symbols of disease and mutation. At their head, hunched over the glowing coils of his war engine, was Warlock Engineer Skitcratch. Sparks danced in the twitching muscles of his face as he adjusted the nozzles of his warp flame thrower.
Man things breed above ground. Take land back, burn them, melt their flesh for the great horned one. Yes, yes.
The tunnels began to shudder as the engines roared to life. At dawn, the first rays of crimson light broke through the storm, and the earth erupted. Geysers of dirt and snow tore upward as Skaven burrow machines breached the surface. The Dark Oath ranks staggered back as hundreds of ratmen poured from the fissures, their eyes glowing sickly green, their weapons dripping with warp poison. Skora didn't flinch. She drew in a deep breath and bellowed.
Dark gods witness my wrath.
The clash was apocalyptic. Warp fire gushed from the Skaven cannons, engulfing the snow in emerald flame. Dark Oath raiders thundered forward on tusk beasts, their axes flaring with wounds of sacrifice. Steel met claw, flesh burned. War cries merged with squeals of panic and frenzy. In the heart of the chaos, Skora cut a path of ruin through the swarm, her axe cleaving skulls and shields alike. Each kill was a prayer, each scream a hymn to her dark patrons. The gods would be pleased. But on a ridge of blasted stone, Skitcratch cackled as he raised his warp-coiled Gatling gun. He rained hellfire upon Skora.
Die, savage gods things!
Lightning burst from his weapon, shattering rocks and hurled bodies aside. The ground beneath Skora cracked and hissed as the air filled with the stench of burning flesh. She fell to one knee, battered, blood streaking her face, but her eyes never left the warlock. She hurled her axe. The ruined blade whirled through the smoke and struck Skitcratch square in the chest. For a heartbeat, the Skaven stared down in disbelief. And then his warp pack exploded. The explosion tore through both armies. The blast flattened banners, shattered ice, and painted the dawn in sickly green light. When the wind finally died, silence followed. Thick snow began to fall, muffling the screams and putting the fires to sleep. Among the ruins of metal and flesh, the Dark Oath survivors rose. Their breath steamed in the frozen air, blood soaking the ground like spilled ink. Skora stood at the edge of the crater, her armor scorched, her left eye clouded by warp burn. Slowly, painfully, she reclaimed her axe from the charred remains of the engineer.
Our oaths are paid in flesh. The gods have taken their due.
Around her, the tribe bent the knee, not in weakness, but in recognition. They had fought, they had triumphed. Yet beneath the earth, deep in the tunnels where the fires had not reached, something stirred again. The echo of claws scratched faintly against the stone, joined by the hiss of whispered voices. Thousands of red eyes blinked in the dark. Skora turned her gaze toward the mountains. The next battle would come soon, and when it did, the plains of Akshi would drink once more. The dark gods were never sated.